In Austin, I'm Quita Culpepper. On Monday, Governor Greg Abbott directed Texas DPS troopers to locate, arrest, and return House members to the Texas House chamber. 57 Democrats left the state Sunday, breaking quorum to prevent a vote on a redrawn congressional map that President Donald Trump requested. Now, the House met Monday afternoon, but without at least 100 members present, the chamber couldn't do any work. The members who were in the chamber passed a motion to lock the doors of the House and send the sergeant of arms out to compel the absent members to come back, even if that means making a civil arrest.
I have signed the civil arrest warrants. We will work with DPS to locate members. I saw, for instance, there is one member who said that they're doing a fundraiser here in Austin tomorrow. And I've sent that fundraising letter to DPS and said they should be invited to attend as well. We'll see how that goes forward.
Our crew was right outside the private airport in Austin Sunday afternoon as Texas Democrats pulled onto the tarmac, most of them on a bus, and boarded a private plane heading to Chicago, Illinois. Governor Greg Abbott said he could remove absent members from their jobs, citing a non-binding opinion from the Texas Attorney General's office to remove their membership in the Texas House. Now, the members who left may have to pay money out of their own pockets for being gone. Under rules passed this session, those House lawmakers who left will face a $500 a day fine for every day they break quorum. Monday morning in New York, that state's governor held a press conference with several Texas House Democrats. State Representative Jolanda Jones pushed back against Abbott's claims they're breaking the law.
I'm a lawyer. A part of my practice is criminal defense work. There is no felony in the Texas Penal Code for what he says. So respectfully, he's making up some okay? He's trying to get sound bites, and he has no legal mechanism.
Those Democrats in New York would not answer reporters' questions on where they're going next or how long they'll stay. One Texas political expert says Governor Abbott's threat of removal from office is unprecedented.
That's a nuclear option because obviously you can't replace these people without going through an election process. So it means a whole bunch of districts, potentially more than 50, would not have any representation.
While the House can't conduct business in the Senate, lawmakers are still meeting and considering bills. The Senate Committee on State Affairs heard hours of testimony on legislation commonly known as the bathroom bill. Senate Bill 7 would require people to only use bathrooms or locker rooms that match their biological sex based on their birth certificate at any public schools or government buildings. The punishment for the first violation is $5,000, then $25,000 for any additional violations. Senator Mays Middleton, the bill's author, says this is very different from the $1,000 and $10,000 violations that were proposed back in 2017 when a similar bill failed.
This bill has real teeth for enforcement and is not just a slap on the hand. Safety for women and children is common sense and should not be sacrificed for the left's radical gender ideology. Women should not be forcibly exposed to men in private spaces, period.
But many people who testified say they worry about how this bill would be enforced.
I'm a woman with short hair who doesn't fit everyone's idea of feminine. Under this law, I could be questioned, harassed, or worse, because measures like this embolden strangers to police anyone who doesn't look the way that they think they should.
The Senate Committee on State Affairs voted to approve Senate Bill 7. It now heads to the full Senate for consideration. Travis County Sheriff's Office deputies are investigating after a man was shot and killed not far from Circuit of the Americas. Sheriff's Office officials say the shooting happened early Monday morning on Moore Road. That's about 5 miles southwest of Coda. At around 11 p.m., Austin police officers got a call about a man in his 40s suffering a gunshot wound. The victim was rushed to the hospital where he died. Sheriff's Office deputies then arrested an 18-year-old relative of the victim. They're not releasing any names while they notify the family. A local nonprofit that supports Austin musicians is now asking for help after losing a major grant. Now, that grant funding has been redirected toward flood relief, and now musicians are hoping the community will step in so they can still get the help they need. Here's Brianna Perez.
Austin, a place where musicians create community through melodies.
On a very fundamental level, we as human beings need music. We have to have it.
But that community is in danger. Patrick Bukta, CEO of Austin, Texas Musicians, says for more than 6 years, the nonprofit has supported local artists in different ways. From securing federal relief and establishing a $200 city pay rate to connecting musicians with job opportunities and educational resources.
There weren't a lot of opportunities for musicians to show up and speak up and be heard, and that was kind of our purpose really initially, was to bring those voices together.
Following the destructive July floods, Bukta says their entire operational budget is now at risk because a grant provided by a private organization has been redirected to aid flood victims.
The grants that we were dependent on to survive had to refocus their efforts towards flood relief, which is obviously the right thing to do, but that does leave us in a pretty precarious position at this point.
He says without this money, they may have to pause their services by the end of the month.
As the live music capital of the world, Austin, Texas musicians say they advocate for about 6,000 artists in the area. But Bukta says that it is becoming harder for performers to continue doing what they love.
It's harder than ever because of affordability and things like that. So anywhere where we can see those gaps in service or where a need is that we can make a difference in the bottom line for musicians is where we want to be.
The nonprofit started an online fundraiser so they can keep supporting artists and preserve the music scene in the capital city. If you would like to help, you can look for this story on KVUE.com. Reporting in Austin, Brianna Perez, KVUE News.
Austin consultants are floating a controversial idea to help solve the city's money problems: selling naming rights to local playgrounds and pools. The suggestion comes as Austin faces a $33 million budget deficit. And right now, the Parks Department spends around $100 million a year, and most of that money comes from the city's general fund. Earlier this year, city leaders increased pool fees to bring in more than $600,000. And now consultants say the Parks Department could sell naming rights to generate even more revenue. The idea is facing a little bit of pushback from multiple council members. According to a memo released last week, city leaders plan to talk with Travis County leaders about possibly setting up a new tax district to raise money for parks. And those are the headlines in Austin. I'm Quita Culpepper.